Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of ADGM Think, our podcast where we find out what financial leaders in our ecosystem really think. My name is Dr. Mariam Al-Dhahri, and it is my pleasure to be your host today. With us, we have a very special guest, Gautam Jain of SC Ventures, who have recently established operations here in ADGM. Welcome, Gautam, to ADGM and to the Think podcast.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
A pleasure is ours. Today, we're going to talk about the power of timing in building and scaling up entrepreneurial ventures. So, Gautam, if you can explain for us the SC Ventures.
So, SC Ventures came into being approximately 6 years ago. And the whole point of setting up SC Ventures and Standard Chartered was, our tagline is rewiring the DNA in banking. We want to look at financial services, its contract with the society in a slightly different way. We acknowledge that society is changing, and it is changing very fast with the advent of technology, and financial institutions sometimes haven't kept up pace with the change. So this is a whole new way of looking how banks and financial institutions actually serve their clients.
Okay.
And that is where the whole idea of SC Ventures was born. So we primarily do three things. We help our partners, fintechs, the bank, our clients, etc., help with thinking through innovative ideas. We create our own ventures. So we create new business models and spin them out as separate and distinct entities in the field of financial services. And we also have an investment arm where we take strategic but minority interest in other people's fintechs and in third-party companies. By doing this, we create a very powerful ecosystem and information flow, which I think is pretty unique in the industry.
And this is very interesting to know, Gautam. Thank you very much. So, Gautam, the job of a BC is to select firms that you believe have a meaningful chance of growth, and once you are all in with the firm as an investor, to support that growth. What are the practical and tactical things does a BC do to help a venture?
So first of all, I think we are slightly different from a traditional corporate venture capital in the sense that we create our own businesses. So if I take the question in two parts, when we create our own businesses, we are looking at the market opportunity, we are looking at a client need, we are looking at regulations. We operate in Asia, Africa, Middle East. That's our playground. As an organization, we know these markets really well. We understand the dynamics, so we can understand the need for new propositions to be established in these markets. So that is how we establish our own businesses. Yeah. When we are investing in other people's businesses, we only invest in partners. So you should be working with Standard Chartered or its wider ecosystem, including the ventures, in some shape or form before you become eligible from an investment from us. So there is a sort of automatic selection process because we see the need in both sides.
Okay.
Either in our businesses or where there is a market opportunity to establish a new business. But once we establish or invest, we always do it as strategic investors, right? So we introduce business use cases, we introduce them to the wider ecosystem. We provide a lot of coaching, counseling, and guidance in terms of how the company should evolve based on how we see the industry evolving, how we see the client needs evolving. We bring the entire SC Ventures ecosystem, which I spoke about earlier, in play to help with both our businesses or businesses we have invested in.
All right. And how often do you identify the industry changes and customer needs or market needs?
So again, this is the power of ecosystem, right? We have a huge ecosystem of our staff, of our clients, of our tech partners, of our investee companies. And that serves as a very strong origination channel for ideas to come to SC Ventures, which are then evaluated. So it's not a team of 4 people sitting in a corner trying to identify, gaps in the proposition. It is the power of the ecosystem, which is immense. We have thousands of staff, on ground who are always talking to clients, like evaluating market needs, and then bringing up these ideas back to SC Ventures. We have thousands of clients who are willing to talk to us and trying and asking us to help solve these problems. So the origination channel which we have, I think, is one of the best in the industry.
This is very insightful, Gautam. Let's talk about your selection process. So what kind of setup capabilities and growth drivers does a venture need to have in place to give it a meaningful chance of winning?
Well, first of all, you have to be very, very sharp about, what the market opportunity actually is, right? And how you are going to fill that gap in a very unique way which nobody has done before. I think that is the first thing which we want to we counsel our businesses to do. There are instances where you may be ahead of the market, your time has not come. There might be instances where you are late, but it is very difficult to identify the exact point where you should be setting up the business. And I think SC Ventures, through its uniqueness in working with several partners, can actually help identify the right time for a launch or to satisfy a market need. And I think that is what makes us very attractive as a platform for other parties, other fintechs to come to us, or our clients to come to us to actually help them, establish new businesses or fulfill a market need.
And do you normally identify challenges internally or externally from the market?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Internally, we run a very large entrepreneur program where we encourage staff to submit ideas to create businesses. Externally, as I said, we have a large ecosystem of clients, partners who are constantly talking to us, and from there we identify ideas all the time.
Very insightful, Gautam. Thank you so much. So, as you are aware, SC Ventures are well known as a backer of fintech companies. But to go to our theme of timing, can you tell us the sector verticals that you think are going to be the ones to watch over the next 5 years?
So we have 4 high conviction themes. Digital assets. As you know, we recently established a $100 million fund based out of UAE to take investments into digital assets. We are very passionate about SMEs and world trade, with our genesis being a trade bank, historically. ESG, financial inclusion, is something very close to our hearts, given the markets we operate in. So this is one area where we will continue to invest. Digital lifestyle continues to grow and change all the time, right? And this is another focus area for us. So these are the 4 themes we will continue to work in the near future. But overriding all of this is technology itself, right? And how can we leverage technology to actually help progress these themes? When it comes to technology, something which we are watching very closely and seeing how we can establish the capability of this technology in our business is artificial intelligence. And not just from a buzzword perspective, but from actual use cases perspective, is something which is something, a lot of thought is going in. We are experimenting with quantum computing.
Okay.
We are establishing businesses which is leveraging metaverse. But ultimately, technology is an enabler. And any technology which we use ultimately has to serve our businesses around the 4 themes I spoke about.
And do you think, Gautam, that the recent crisis of COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the use of technology to the businesses?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. COVID-19 was a pretty difficult time for the entire world. But in terms of acceleration to digitization of businesses, I think got a real boost during that really tough period. I wish it wouldn't have happened that way, but it did.
But opportunities are born.
Opportunities are
during
born
crisis.
in the time of crisis. Yes, absolutely.
And do you think that could be a main reason why you're focusing on those sectors, those verticals?
Those verticals have been our original theme from the very beginning.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Also, Gautam, the GCC global tech ecosystem has experienced 134% growth in ecosystem value, which is the sixth biggest globally. What opportunity do you see here in this time?
Look, we are very excited about this region. That is why we are establishing ourselves here, right? I mean, what we see are opportunities in all the themes I had described. I think GCC is becoming a hotbed for digital assets, and hence the establishment of the fund here. SMEs is a big agenda on the almost all GCC governments. ESG, financial inclusion. Again, you hosted COP28 in this country recently. So that is also very high on the agenda. So we believe that, the way this region is thinking about the future is very well aligned to the themes we work on. And I think there is a natural coming together of minds between the region and what we do. And that is why we are incredibly excited about the opportunity. We have established 2 new businesses which are homegrown. We hope to establish more. But very importantly, what we want to do is businesses which we have established outside the GCC region, to introduce them to the GCC region and bring them here.
That's great.
To satisfy the agenda of the economy.
That's very interesting, Gautam. Thank you very much. Gautam, it is well known that the best startups can attract the best talent. Now, how do you improve the talent and get them work together as a winning machine?
That's a very interesting question, because ultimately whatever we do or whatever anybody does, it's all about people. If you don't have the right people, then the best ideas will fail, right? At SE Ventures, we are very passionate about talent. We have a huge diversity of talent, not from a gender perspective alone, but from various backgrounds, from the way people think, so and I think diversity is one of our secret sauces in terms of what we do our business. But ultimately, it all boils down to, what is your vision, what is your purpose?
Yeah.
And if you can align the teams towards a common vision and a common purpose, then I think that actually works the best. If everybody is pulling in the same direction, then I think the business or the initiative has a much higher chance of success when you have a common agenda, common vision, common purpose. And that's what brings the passion in. And if you're not passionate about what you do, then, what's the point?
This is new to me to know. So this is something very interesting, Gautam. Thank you very much. I kept the best for last for our discussion today. What role do you think market timing plays in the chance of success for a startup?
As they say, timing is everything, right? And market timing, in this particular region is absolutely spot on for innovation and for building the future, and that is why we are entering at this point in time. I think the pace of change in financial services and in society as a whole is accelerating, which is bringing some really interesting opportunities for organizations like us to start looking at and evaluating and leveraging, and ultimately go back to our original vision of rewiring the DNA in banking and looking at financial services and its contract with the society as a whole in a completely new light, and prepare for a very exciting future ahead.
Thank you very much, Gautam. It is an absolute pleasure to have you today in our podcast, ADGM Think, and also it's an absolute pleasure to have you here in ADGM.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Gautam.